Great. So more or less, most of you are here, and welcome, welcome again back to this online workshop. And so let me, that's okay. Okay. And okay, now let me share my screen. Okay, can you see this? Right.
Yes, thank you.
Right. Now this is my website, right? And maybe I put it in the chat again. Okay, so you can come here to see my online workshop link. Oh. Okay, if you're ready, you can come back to my web page, and also the maybe click on the section for the online workshops. Right, then you can see the links. Okay, so probably you know where it is. All right, and for today, you can see that I'm going to talk about some teaching materials, how we can find them online, and so what kind of things that you may use and find and adapt, right, for your teaching. It is also related to the previous discussions about the use of the tools, GeoGebra and Desmos, right? But in the previous workshops, maybe I demonstrate mainly the techniques of using the tools. In fact, it involves a lot of teaching ideas behind it. Okay, so that's why today I may go back to some of the sources of the teaching ideas rather than simply the use of the tools itself. Okay, but you can consider that they are actually interrelated. Okay, so I hope that this will be useful for you. Now, and as a quick introduction, maybe you can look at my folder. All right, this is my folder in Google. Okay, and I can click to open it. And I also now copy it to the chat as well. Okay. Can you see this?
Yes.
Okay. Right, now here are some folders. It actually contains files that I download from the web, right? And so it may be handy for you. But of course, there's no introductions here. It's just a collection of files in the folders, right? But you can browse through it to get a sense of what teaching material I may recommend. For example, this one, I will go on to explain more some material from Malcolm Swarm. So if you click inside this, then you can see 3 files, particularly the first one, what Malcolm Swarm worked together with Susan Wall. All right, and this is a big document. This one I highlighted here. So you can click open it to see it. Now in my Google folder, I may use the online PDF reader to open it, but you can use on your own. Right? You can simply download it, and then you open it in your. Now I think I can download it. Am I right? Yes. Maybe you can try download it. Okay. Or maybe if you like, you can actually copy all the folders in my Google account, okay, which I share with you. Then you can get back to the file easily. Okay. Now I just simply download. Maybe you can try to download it as well, all right, to see how it works. Okay. And when you successfully download it, then you will see a PDF file like this. Okay. I can get back to the first page, probably. Oh, this is the first page of the files. How about you? Can you see the file? Can you download the file?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. So this is one of the PDF files I contained in my Google folder. But you will also find other PDF files, okay? And then you can study them or try to see how it may be useful for your teaching. And if you want to know about the source, please let me know. Okay, I may not put down directly the link or the sources there, but I can always point you to the original source on the web, right? All these are public files that I obtained from the web, okay? And this one I may explain a little bit, okay? But the other ones are also very useful. So if you go to the folder, and this is the package, right, that I show you. Okay. For example, another one is called Melati. This one is also useful. Maybe I'll open it as well to demonstrate a little bit. You can see 4 files, okay? So they are collection from a website called Melati. Maybe this one, I open it here. It's for algebra, okay? So I can download it. And you can also try to download it and then have a look of this one. Okay. So I'm now opening it. Let me see, what is it? Okay, now it's opened. And in this file, you can see the link, okay, in the first page. And then you can go on to see the original source. Okay, that is obtained from a website in South Africa. Okay, this is a mathematics website for teachers in South Africa. But the material is very useful, although it's a bit old. It's already quite some time, so over a decade. However, it's a very good collection from my point of view, and includes topics from primary to secondary school. Right, the later one will be useful for higher forms. Okay, I cover a lot of things about algebra. Now you will find that they put it into different files. Okay, but in my copy that you download from my folder, the Google folder. Okay, and you will find that it is. Let me see. This is the folder. It has all the documents combined in one, okay? Because when I download it, I try to merge them together into one big file so that you can trace all the material from primary to secondary school, right? Regarding algebra. And more important is that the authors of this website actually also explain the rationale behind the design, right? So you can see my highlighted part here. It is the introduction part, all right, to explain the rationale behind the design of this set of material and how to use it, all right, and together with the later exact classroom material, all right, so you can see the questions, items or tasks, okay, in the following pages, okay, from lower form to higher form. Any question about this file? Can you open it? Now, let me point you again. This is the folder right, in my workshops page in my website, and you can click on this folder. All right, that is a Google folder I share with you. I copy it again right, to the chat, and I just open some folder right, inside and then demonstrate how to download some of the PDF. Particularly, some of the PDF files are quite large, actually, because I combine a lot of individual files when I download it from the original source. Okay, so this one is the first one I talk about. Actually, it's from Malcolm Swarm. Right, the whole folder is actually containing material from Malcolm Swarm. I will explain more about his work later. Okay, and similarly, the other folder, or you can simply just copy all my folders. I think you can have some way, okay, to make a copy of all my folders directly to your own account, okay, and then you can keep this versions. Okay, all these things are downloaded from the web. Okay. Any questions so far? Now, then maybe I go on to explain some backgrounds right, of these material. For example, this one I mentioned from an author, Malcolm Swarm, right, from a very productive right, and important educators in mathematics. And if you go back to my homepage, okay, you can see the section on design, okay, here on the right, I highlighted here. So that is the part about various materials and ideas about task and lesson design. Okay, now I put it into the chat again. Okay, you can come to this page. And you can follow the link to get the GeoGebra and Desmos activity files. Okay, so these are based on the electronic tools. And at the same time, you can also find links to different tasks, okay, that I suggest. And then you scroll down, I have two big sections below, introducing different links, okay? On the left, there are various important sources I like to recommend, particularly some sources that leading to the files in my Google folder, right, that you can see in my Google folder. And on the right, there are also very good blogs, right, by different authors, teachers. Okay, so we're very active and productive and on the web. So you can have a check of this. These are my recommendation, right? You can follow them and then try to get more materials or ideas from them. Now I go back to the left side. Okay, I'm mainly talking about the left side because these are some important website. Okay, big projects. Some may be curriculum projects in other places. which have generated and gathered a lot of teaching materials and share with teachers together with professional developments ideas. All right. And usually I recommend this NCETM from the UK, and also National STEM Center is also from the UK, right? They involve materials in mathematics, which you can find here. And in fact, if you follow this item, improving learning in mathematics, this is one place where I get the resources from Malcolm Swan. So now I open it. Okay, and I can also show you the link here in the chat as well. Okay, you can follow me to come to this page, which is one section in the STEM Center in the UK. Okay, so it contains the material regarding to mathematics and other STEM subjects. Right, so this part is one of the items from the mathematics. Okay, and so this is the original source. On the right, you can see this is original called standard units. All right. Which is disseminated to teachers in the UK, right, for free. So many teachers in UK can obtain a free copy, right, from this standards unit. And now the materials are available online as PDFs. Right? So if you go through this part, you can find how they talk about the teaching materials, how they talk about the principles behind teaching and learning and planning and so on. Okay, and here is the part containing the material teaching activities and materials. And if you click inside this, then you can see this. There are still different major sections: numbers, algebra, shape and space, and statistics. For example, if you click on the algebra materials, then you can see even more individual lessons. So these are individual lesson items. They label as A1, A2, and A3. Now I download all of them and combine them into one big file. So that's why you can see the file which are over 400 pages. Okay, so you can download this individually, of course. You can go through this one and then find them individually. Now, and for my PDF file, okay, so this one, yeah, which is from the STEM Center, I combine them together. That's why you can see many lessons. I combined it into one file. All right, and if you have a way to open the outlines or the content on the left or on the right, maybe. Okay, then you can see the individual lesson. If you follow this content pages, okay, then these are the lessons for algebra. Okay, similarly lessons for shape and space. And so altogether, there are over 400 pages putting together, and these are the teaching materials from one author or from one group of author, but they are led by one key person, the Malcolm Swan that I mentioned earlier. Okay, so any questions so far? Can you see this file? Can you open this file? Oh, someone mentioned that there's a primary mathematics CPD link from NCTM's not working. I see. Maybe I will check it. Thank you for telling me. Okay. Or you can also Google it to have a look. All right. I will try to amend it later. Thank you very much for telling me. Okay. Yes. Okay. This is the yeah. Okay. Are you on this file? Are you all on this file? Maybe I go on to talk about some details of this file. Okay. Because this contains a lot of teaching material arranged in different lessons. Okay. And I open it now. For example, I go to this calculus sections, and I can talk about the first one, C1. Okay, it's not directly about calculus, but more advanced algebra, right? And something in our senior secondary forms. Okay, just linking the properties of forms and quadratic functions. Okay, and if you look at it, this lesson contains about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pages. Okay, starting. So these are the 7 pages, and then C2 is another lesson. Okay. Now, what you can see, if you can look at the further pages. Now, these are the teaching materials, right? So these are called what they card. Now, this is one kind of design promoted by this group of authors, right? They usually may create some kind of cast and ask you to cut it out and then try to arrange it. Okay, so these are equations or functions, and then these are some informations individually you can get it. And then they are supposed to match with the cards as well. So these are, I mean, the graphs, right? The graphs here, you can also print it out and cut it out. And then as piece of papers, then you can let the student put it on the desk and work in groups and try to sort them or match them, right? And this is a very useful way of running a lesson. And maybe you will also recognize that this is also one kind of task that's available in the Desmos platform, which I introduced earlier in my platform, in my workshop, right? So I introduced to you Desmos, which is now very handy, very convenient for us to create this kind of sorting task online. Okay, but before that, before the Desmos, actually this group of authors already promotes a lot of this kind of card sorting activity, just simply using papers. All right, so you can see the original design, but you can always convert them into Desmos activity. I hope you know how to do it. Right? Maybe I don't show you today about the Desmos activity, but I think you can imagine that it can be designed or used in the Desmos platform. Am I right? Is it clear? Okay. So now if you scroll back to the earlier pages of this lesson, then you can see the explanation by the authors. You can learn a lot from the lesson design because they talk about, for example, the goals, how to use the materials. Okay, this set of cards A and card set B and so on. Right, and then how to begin the sections, working in groups with the students. These are good instructions and also very detailed ideas. And even some examples. Right now, you can see reviewing extending learning. That means they may suggest you how to ask questions, ask learner questions using the mini whiteboard. Mini whiteboard is another tool I always recommend in the classroom, which some of you may also see my demonstration in our lessons. Okay, I quite often ask the student to display their ideas quickly, easily, or by writing or by drawing. Okay, and then they can ask the student this kind of question: give me a possible equation for this graph. For example, we can show this graph on the screen and then ask the student to give a possible equation. So these are very good, quick questions for prompting, right, their thinking and probing their understanding. Okay, so I appreciate this kind of suggestion advised by the author. I think you can learn from them. Okay, by going through some of these specific examples, more concrete example. Right, try to think about how you may ask similar question and also why or how the student may respond. Okay, so they also talk about what the student might do next, okay, and further ideas. So these are well structured, okay, explanations by the author. Okay, can you understand how it works basically? I hope that you can learn something, okay, from this set of materials by reading it. Anyone know this before? Anyone come across this set of materials before? Do you have any experience before using them? No? Just let me know, right, if you have any experience of using them or similar idea. Is it new to you, to all of you? I mean, this set of materials from the authors of Malcolm Swan. Is it entirely new to you? How about Monica? May I ask, did you come across it in Nottingham? Rami also tell me that you come across it in the PGD lesson. Yes, you're right. Recently, I demonstrated and also show it in my PGD lesson. Okay. How about Monica?
Yes.
Because, so so you come across it in Nottingham, am I right?
Yeah, I came across.
Yeah, can you share with us? Any idea about using them? Because I'm also interested. Because I asked you because Malcolm Swan is originally from Nottingham.
I think this is a good method, but sometimes students will come across some difficulties of using this method also.
I see. Okay. So later on, right, try to maybe share with us more, because I wonder whether your teachers, right, in Nottingham, and also demonstrate directly how to use them. Okay, you can also compare, right, what we may experience here, if possible, right. So I appreciate your suggestion or contributions later on. Okay, now others, feel free to try. Now, of course, you don't have to follow exactly the whole lesson, right. What I recommend is that you can try to get some ideas of designing some of the material, or the way they propose how you discuss with the student, right? I think you can learn from this, from the approach, okay? Not necessarily following rigidly the entire activity, right? Do you see my point here, okay? Because there's a lot of things that it mentions about how they design the question, how they ask a question, and then prepare for the student discussion. All these are very useful ideas from my point of view, okay? Or feel free to discuss with us if you come across any interesting material and wonder how you adapt it, all right? In your case, particularly when I recommend Desmos platform, then I suppose some of these kind of activity can easily transfer to the Desmos platform as well, right? Which can be used now more conveniently. But of course, even without electronic platform, using paper, it is also a very good means. I think that is a very easy and simple means to use them. Now, maybe I quickly show you another examples in this file while you're opening. If you're opening this file, you can go on maybe to check this one. Let me go ahead to find it out first. I think I can find something. Let's see. I just browse for it. How about this one? Evaluating statements about enlargement. Okay, SS5. If you can get this, okay. It is around page 264 in my PDF, right? If you can open it, then you can see this. This is another kind of design, I think, okay. And if you scroll down it, you will find that, okay, maybe I go to the material first. The material is here, something like this, okay. So they are called statements, okay. So each card, now the focus is not sorting now. The focus is about evaluating each statement, okay? So if you double the length of the size of a rectangle, its perimeter doubles, all right? So they're asking the student whether this is true or not, okay? And then starting up some discussion, okay? So that is another kind of design they quite often suggest, all right? So this is the basic material. And if you go back to the, to the beginning of this lesson, SS5, then you can see the explanations of the goals. And then later on, they also try to highlight how to do the whole group discussion, show the first drawing, and then ask some basic question to prompt the discussion, okay? And then when they work in groups, they will, the student will argue about it, okay? And then now you can see this part. This is very important keywords, okay? So the student are asked to evaluate the statement and to conclude whether it is always true, or it is sometimes true, or never true, okay? Now, while doing so, they also suggest to give examples to support their judgments, right? So this is a good means to frame it, or to arrange a discussion, right, with the students, okay? So you can see how they go on to think about to maybe prompt the student to talk more, right? So what happens if they think the statement is true, or what can be done if they think the statement is false, okay? Can you give some examples? So this is some follow-up question for the student, right, which is very useful again, okay? So here are some more details. And then you can see similar design in the other group, A4, SS4, and S2. They are called evaluating this and that, all right? So these are basically the same kind of lesson or structures with certain teaching materials. Any questions about this example? Can you follow me in opening the pages? Right. So do you have any question? Okay, maybe one more example. I think I can, let me check. I'm finding some different examples. Maybe I get here. Okay, maybe this one, N10, any activity binomial series. Oh, Rami asked me, any activity binomial series. Well, you can try. Now, actually, they are not really advanced, very advanced mathematical topics, okay? And there's around the GCSE levels, actually. Maybe particularly, they are designed for students to revise the GCSE before they sit examination, even resit examination, right? So you can find that a lot of materials will be very suitable for the GCSE level, okay? And let me have a quick check in the algebra. I think in the algebra section, you may find something, perhaps you may find something related to binomial, but I'm not too sure. But I can show you another website very soon, right? Perhaps you can find out more. It is exactly from the same group of author, actually, okay? While I'm opening this, maybe I can ask you, okay, this one, you can look at A8, all right? Developing an exam question. This is another kind of questions or lesson design. Okay, and if you open my PDF file, then it's about 181 pages. You can open this one. And the material here is like this. Let me see. I think this is supposed to be an exam question, okay? And then this is a template for drawing, and then ask the student to produce a similar question. Now, do you understand the design? So they make use of a proper exam question and then ask the student to modify it, right, or create their own questions based on their understanding. So as a means, they will help them to revise their understanding or deepen their understanding, and at the same time getting familiar with the examination as well. So it serves both purposes, okay? And that is also a very good way of arranging some materials and learning opportunity for the students. And so you can see the beginning pages, right? They explain how they prepare these materials and what is focusing on, all right? How you start with the questions and then go on to suggest how the question can be modified, okay? So generating more questions, working in groups. When they work in groups, they will ask the student to design, okay, their own question. Maybe they can design of patterns first, because this is a question about patterns, okay? And then based on this, they can ask the student to suggest some question and even share the questions, right, with each other. So that is another way, right, of arranging lessons. Similarly, you can see other similar lessons in other topics, designing exam questions for numbers, transformations, and probability. Right? So these are the some of the basic templates that they use in designing lesson. So I hope that you can learn something from them in this way. Now maybe I go back to some websites related to Malcolm Swan so that you know more about his background. Now this is my homepage, right? The design sections. In this one, you can find more information about the sources. And here is the pages about Malcolm Swan, okay? So you can see another website called Mathematics Assessment Project, okay? So you click on this one. Then you can see another website produced by this group of authors, also led by Malcolm Swan. Okay, can you see this? I put the links in the chat. Okay, this is called Mathematics Assessment Project, and this project also produce a lot of lessons. All right, so this is the tab for assessing the lessons. And when you go to the lessons part, then you can see grade 6, grade 7, grade 8. Now the labeling is actually following the US curriculum, because this is a website in the US. Although it is actually created mainly by some educators in the UK, or collaborating between the UK and the American teachers and educators, okay? And then for the higher form material, maybe you can go directly to this part about high school, okay? So this section is about high schools, then you can see material for the little bit higher forms. And perhaps you can see, I remember some things about binomials. Can you find it here? So what do you think? Oh, try combine it. Oh, okay. Yeah. Anyone have found it? Perhaps. So let me check it. Yeah. Oh, not in this page. And maybe I forget where I see this material. Okay, never mind. Maybe I try some other activities similar to the previous one. Now I think I can open, let's see this one, representing quadratic functions graphically, okay? So that is similar to the one I showed you in the previous PDF file, right? Now I click open this, and this is one lessons page. Now I put it in the chat again. You can follow this page. And then this is the details of the lessons. And on the right, you can download the lesson material in the PDF file. So I click open this. Or you can directly download it as well. Okay, maybe I download here and then open it. So now compare with the previous one, I think you will see even more details, right, about the design and suggestions. And the basic idea is just like this. They have some questions to begin with, right, for testing the students' knowledge as a kind of diagnostic, okay, process. That's why the project is called Mathematics Assessment Project, because it's focused more on the use of the formative assessment, okay, integrated with the teaching. So they suggest you to use a suitable question to test the students' prior knowledge and basic understanding in order for you to decide what to do within the lesson. Okay, so they can refer to students' response to understand the response and then try to analyze it and prepare, right, for your coming lesson. Now, if actually the whole idea is similar to how I recommend the use of the Desmos and the GeoGebra classroom, if you still remember, right? I always encourage you to use the platform, not only for demonstration, but for testing the student, and then based on the response, okay, gather the response and then try to make sense of the response and then think about how to move on with the next steps, okay, and or maybe conduct discussion with the students based on the responses. So these are the similar ideas that I recommend in the previous use of the electronic tools. Okay, so this one, you can see the question is basically about matching equation with the graph, and then they're not exactly, okay, details information in the graph, but they can try to make good use of the information so far provided in the graph to match with the functions as far as possible. Right, so these are some starting point. And then later on, they have some different kind of domino cards, okay, to match the graph and equations. And okay, these are more specific questions involved. Okay. Now go back to the. I just go scroll back. All right. I think these are some of the, yes, what they call the domino cards. Okay. Right. So if you go back to the explanations of the lesson, then you can see similarly, there's a lot of good advice to you. I highlighted in this color, okay, and what kind of question you may ask. Even some, let me check it here. Yes, they also provide some common issues. That means what kind of response that you may expect from the student. Of course, you may not totally rely on this. However, that can be a very good starting point, right, for you to consider some possible students' response and even suggest a question and prompts. Okay, what you may do to further prompt the students so that they will further think about it, not simply just explain the whole thing to them when they have problems, but some kind of interaction between you and the student, right, to discuss about the ideas. So partly you can, of course, you can contribute your explanation, but also partly you can invite the student to adjust the ideas, right? And so these are very useful advice, right, to prepare for your discussion and interaction with the students within the lessons. Okay? So this is basically what you can see in this website, right? It's a very similar kind of structures and with more details, lesson planning and design ideas. Okay. Any questions from you? Okay, so maybe I just quickly show you one or two more examples, okay? And just like this one, evaluating statements about enlargement somewhere here, if you can follow me, okay? Or I also copy this page and then put it in the chat. Okay, you can open this page together with me. This is another kind of lessons again, talking about, yes, enlargement, and then you can click on the PDF file and then open it or download it. Okay, and now I download it in my folder. And then you can see this is another kind of question. They ask the student to make a judgment, okay? So they are talking about proportions, enlargement, okay? So that means if some objects is being enlarged, okay, in a certain way, how would you expect the area, length, or the volume of the objects will be increased, okay, proportionally? Now, this is not an easy concept for many students, once again, and they put it into a particular context, okay? For example, here they talk about the price as well of different products, right? Between them, you can imagine that they may proportionally increase, but whether the price will also be increase in the same way, that is a central question in this set of materials. All right, and so they prompt the student to think about proportionality actually, and then related to similarities as well. Okay, so these are the basic questions. If just is yes, this is the talking about the rings. Okay, and then they have different sizes, different dimensions, and the prices are also adjusted accordingly. But they will ask you whether you think that, okay, the price reflects the same ratios according to the objects, okay, physical objects. And that is a very good kind of question, also posed in a particular context. And then you can see that later on they talk about area, right? When they talk about pizzas. And then similarly, when they talk about popcorns, they look at volumes and surface area probably, right? Something like this. So they're keeping on the same idea, right? And making students to make judgment about the statements, whether it's right or wrong, and in order to promote discussions among the students. So similarly, if you go back to the top, they will also provide some key questions, right, for you to consider. And so it is a very good source for you to think about. And let me see now, these are the tables for outlining some possible response from the student, what you may observe. You may really compare with what you really get from the student, even though, as I mentioned, always mentioned, don't totally rely on this, all right? You can find that there can be many different kinds of suggestions or responses from the students as well. And then similarly, you can think about the questions and prompts that can follow up. Or imagine that you are discussing with the student or a group of students, okay, and how you can respond to them, okay? So I hope that this will be helping you to prepare, right, for this lesson or designing similar lessons. Any question from you? Can you find this file?
Is it under the same file you just sent, the link you sent us? Can you tell me which tab exactly?
Yes. Now I have shown you two files. One is the, let me see, did I close it? This one, okay, maybe I show you. Can you see this one? This one is one big, this is one big file.
Yeah, this one.
Okay. Yeah, it's also from the same author, same group of author, right? Malcolm Swan, but this is one big file, right? Download from the STEM Center in the UK. And the website I show you here, the website show you, it's online, okay, mathematics
Yeah, I got
assessment
this one.
project.
Yes.
And within it, you can see different lessons, okay?
Mhm.
And you can find some similarity. I particularly pick up 2 lessons that are very similar, right? Because
Okay.
it's just like the previous one in the big PDF file, okay?
Okay.
But this one is individual, so each link
Okay.
point to an individual lessons.
Okay.
Can you get it?
Yes. Yes. Okay. Okay.
But you can see very similar design and very similar kind of advice are given to the teachers. Do you agree?
Okay. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
So you can go back to my website again to follow up, right? Let's go back again to scroll down to this sections about Malcolm Swarm. Actually, if you look at other authors I mentioned here, they have also very useful material provided in different ways. Okay, and I just focus on one today to explain a little bit more details. And now the second link under Malcolm Swarm, right, topic or section, is this one is called Improving Learning in Mathematics Challenges and Strategies. Right, so you can open it and then find out some background information, okay, about the project. Okay, originally in the UK. Okay, so this is called the standards unit. I just let you know more about the background of the project. And this PDF document, this PDF file, all right, you can download this PDF or follow my Dropbox link. They are the same one, right? If you follow my Dropbox link, you can also download the file, okay? And so this is the kind of overall explanations of the design material, okay? Including the types of activity, you can see that, how to use the sections. So these are highlights by me, okay? Because I also want to highlight some key ideas behind the lessons design, okay? How we use the formative assessment, how we ask questions that make learners think, exposing areas and misconceptions. So these are always useful in thinking about the lessons. And talking about types of activity, you can see classifying mathematical objects. That's why you can always quite a lot see the card sorting activities. All right. Evaluating mathematical statements. So that is another kind of lessons I just shown you. Okay. Asking a student to comment on the statements, whether they are true or false, or sometimes even distinguish them as always true, sometimes true, and never true. Okay. And so these are the basic templates in the lessons design. Right? So you can have a look, follow my links all in my PDF or sometimes in Evernote file, and then give you more information about the sources and backgrounds. Right? And oh, sorry, I closed my. Let me see. I go back to my website. Okay, to yes, the design page, and then believe here and follow the links here. So far, can you follow? Can you see where I'm pointing at? Now, by the way, when you open my Evernote file, you can find links or PDF file attached. And so if you follow the link, sometimes you can also get my original PDF files or maybe some PDF files that with my annotation, okay? So that you can refer to it directly to see what are the main points I would like to suggest. Sometimes in a big file, so that you may have a lot of things to search and look around, okay? So this is the way that you can access my materials in the Evernote folders and also the associated files. Any question from you? Right, now maybe I then turn to another author. All right, Malcolm Baum is one of the key authors I would like to suggest. And the one about Colin Foster, he has also a lot of useful material. Of course, you see Jennifer also as well, right? And her work is also shared with you a lot. So I did not mention here, okay, but you can see the books right in our library. And similarly, Colin Foster is another educators have a lot of materials shared with teachers through different websites. These are all his website actually, okay? And there are also books by him available in our library. This one is called The Essential Guide to Secondary Mathematics. Another one is called resources for teaching mathematics, right? So this one will give you a lot of useful teaching materials, right, in the form of individual lessons, and that can be very handy. Okay, you can check this one. Either you follow the links to find the ebook, okay, in the library. Okay, try to access them, or you can go to my Evernote file, so you can open it. So this is my Evernote file. Sometime I will give you more information, but this one I just have the PDF file, all right, and which I download from the Hong Kong U website in the library. Okay, so you can access them. And okay, now I go back to Colin Foster's main page. Perhaps this is the main web page of Colin Foster. Okay, now I click on this. Okay, I put the chats. I put in the chats the links. Okay, you can see the links there. Do you know this author? Do you know his work? Anyone? Maybe not yet. Okay, try to have a look. I think it's a very productive author. You can see his very different website, different kind of materials. Some are specific kind of tasks, what they call mathematical etudes. Okay, and something called here on the right, mathematical beginnings. Right, that means there may be some suggestions for how to start a particular lesson for different topics. Right, these are the earlier design from him from different book lists called the instant math ideas. Okay, so these are also very useful resources. On the right, you can see more recent books. As I mentioned, 2 of them are available in our library as ebooks, but others are also available as hard copies. Right? Some of them are also available as hard copies. So you can also check them in our library. And apart from this, you can also see articles. Now I'm pointing at this link, okay, about articles, because he also writes a lot in different journals, right, for teachers. And then these articles are also very good source. Okay, and now I'm opening this page. And you can follow me to come to this page. You can scroll down and then you can find a lot of articles. Now, some are more research oriented, which is of course also useful for some of you studying MEd, all right? And then later on, you can have a try to read or to go through any of these articles that you find interesting, or book chapters, okay, conference proceedings. But when you scroll down, then you can see other professional articles. So this part mainly for teachers, okay, more directly about teaching materials and teaching design for teachers. So these are professional articles. That means they may appear in professional journals or some other articles below, okay, different kind of professional journals. And those with links, I believe that you can access the file online, all right? For example, I just click something arbitrarily, okay, area and perimeter. So this one is from a journal, Teaching Secondary. If you click open this, then you can see this PDF file. Okay, so that is from a teacher's journal talking about a specific lesson, just one page. This one is rather short, okay? But they also talk about some general ideas of teaching this lesson. And I think there are something more elaborate. For example, understanding indices. Okay, I click this one to have a look. Oh, this one is also one page, okay, design, a very simple one, right? How about scrolling down? Let's see. And let me see some materials below. Do you see any interesting things? Wow, quite long list. You see that? Yeah. Wow, there's you see many different topics, okay, mentioned here. Okay, I don't know whether I've opened this one before. Maybe I have a look. This is called angle chasing. So it's a little bit longer, right? From the same journal, but 2 pages. Lots of interesting design, okay, how you can design something to start up some very rich discussion with the student, okay? So I hope that this is also very useful to you. Hello, Ramya. You asked a question. Can we take ideas from these for teaching ideas in Dr. Mock's assignments? Now, I don't know exactly what that assignment is, so I may not be able to directly answer you, okay? And maybe you can discuss with her, okay? And they can show her these materials and then ask her directly, just because I don't know exactly about that assignment, right, from Dr. Mock, okay? But anyway, my focus here is more about the practical teaching inside the classroom. So whether it is linked up to your other course assignment is up to you, okay? I'm not too sure, but I want to give you some background, right, of teaching materials, right, of different kinds, and also how to get some advice from educators like who design these materials, and then hoping that it may be directly useful in your lesson. And then later on, of course, it can also be connected to some of your other assignment or studies. Okay. Right. Any other questions from you?
The assignment
Yes.
from Dr. Mock was like to create a teaching package. Like, so we had to have like lesson plans and maybe assessments. So that's why we are wondering if we can pick up assessments, like take ideas and not maybe use the exact ones, but can we take ideas from here?
Yeah.
I don't see any problem of getting, because anyway, these are always available sources, right, for you to consider, right? And then if you're asked to find some teaching ideas to evaluate and comment on, then now at least these are actually teaching materials, right, from my point of view, right? Then you can always make use of it, adapt it, or comment and evaluating it, okay? But
No,
whether you need any theoretical framework, okay, for your analysis, then I'm not too sure. Of course, they may not include directly any theoretical framework, okay? They just provide some teaching materials. And also, although they also talk about some design rationale, okay? And so you can check whether this is related to some of your theoretical frameworks, okay? Perhaps mentioned in the other courses, okay? Will it be helpful?
Yeah.
Thank you.
But at least I hope that you can consider, right, maybe trying it or using it in your lessons, okay? I mean, in your teaching, particularly when you are looking at some possible teaching ideas, all right? And just like here, many of you today are from the MEd classes, okay? Sometimes we have PGD students joining me as well here, okay? But for the MS students, then of course you will also be able to relate it to the IB approach to teaching and learning. Now, although they do not directly talk about approach to teaching and learning in IB, okay, but you can try to make use of it to think about how it can be related to the IB approach in teaching and learning. So Ramya also mentioned Craig Barton variation theory. What do you want to ask about that, Ramya?
Is that one is like SSDD, the same surface, different depth? Is that the variation theory from Craig Barton? Because I can see that link on your, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
SSDD.
this is from Craig Barton, and then you can follow the link.
SSDD.
Craig Barton have just like Colin Foster. Craig Barton also have a lot of different websites actually. Okay. And he has a particular website about variation theory. I don't know whether I have included here or not. But this is just one of his websites.
Oh, okay.
This is just one of his websites.
This is actually very nice. Actually, I have actually used SSDD in my class.
I can't open it in Safari. It's a problem with the Safari. Oh, okay. It's good. Okay, now what it? Yeah. but let me check whether you can find it. Okay, you can see this tab. Sorry, my website. That means his website. All right, and I should go back one.
Even his
Can-
diagnostic questions also really good.
Yes, I lost the question. Now this is the variation theory website. Can you see this?
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So these are his website. Okay, yeah. And yes, he also used quite a lot about variation theory. Have you talked about variation theory?
No, actually the
Dr. Mock's lesson?
SSDD only. No, actually I have used only SSDD and diagnostic questions resources in my class.
They are interrelated. They are
Ah,
interrelated actually. Okay. And so you can have a try to maybe study it, right? Or maybe learn about their design ideas. Yeah, how it is connected to variation theory. I will explain a little bit more in my course later, but not now. Right? So I may not have time to elaborate now. Maybe we can just go ahead of trying the material and let us discuss it in the semester 2, perhaps. Okay. And any other question from you? I think more or less I have to stop here because I have another briefing with some of you. Okay, directly at 9. Okay, so I think I have to stop on time. All right. Then, do you have any question about the material I shared today? Or any comments?
Thank you for the resources, really helpful. It's like a big bank of resources.
Yeah. Okay, so feel free to browse through it. Okay, and then as a summary again, now you find that today I talk about the lesson and teaching material, but in the previous workshop, I talk about the Desmos and GeoGebra. Okay, I hope that you can see the connection because, for example, when I design question in Desmos, I'm also thinking of same kind of arrangement, right, or questions that may prompt the students' discussion, okay, or lead them to think about deeper of certain ideas, right? Similarly for GeoGebra, sometimes of course I use GeoGebra for demonstration, okay, and sometimes or nowadays, you know that GeoGebra can also allow students to respond directly online. Then you will also have a means to prepare discussion with the students in a similar way. All right? So I hope that you can see the connection between these two. Is it okay? All right, so later on, maybe let's see. I forgot to mention the days of next workshop. Okay, maybe I'll tell you later. I think I'm not too sure because in the coming Wednesday we have lessons, so I'm not too sure whether other weekdays would be good. If you have any suggestion, you can let me know, okay? Or I can post the announcement in the Moodle when I think of any other suitable days for the coming workshops. Okay, and feel free to give me any comments or suggestion anytime you like. All right. All right, so I think we have to finish here. Now for TMIC student, okay, when you go out, then I'll open another link quick immediately. All right, then you can join that one for our briefing. Is it okay?
okay, thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.